Share your. Am I live? I think I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. I'm live. All right. So let me fix something here. Yeah, let me see something here. What's up, y'all? What's up? Well, it's early. Ain't nobody here. Let's see here. I'm trying to, clear. I'm trying to clear. Uh, I'm still getting it going. But yeah, man, I wanna go live. Get live. Get live. Well, I am live. Uh let's see, that's that. Let me see. I ain't even going yet. Hold up. If you're in here, hold up. I'm trying to do something else so I can properly monitor this live. So if you're in here, hold up. I'm not looking at the chat or nothing yet. I'm just trying to make sure that what I'm trying to do here. Hold on. Y'all was looking at some, man. I try to. Okay, let's try that. All right, let's see. All right, there we go. There go the kid. There go the kid. All right, here we go. There go the kid. There go the kid. Oh, it's on the delay. All right, here we go. Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, looks nice. All right. What's going on in here? This Black Moses coming at ya. And you know I had to get ya. But anyway, man, I'm in here for the dang, I still hear the feedback. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, man. What's up, man? It's Sunday. I really ain't got too much to do. It's the wind down before the week. So I said, you know what? Let's do some content today. I did a little video because I saw something weird, and I want to speak on that. I want to speak on some weirdness I seen. And it was over at CM's channel. Now, I always thought that CM was a weirdo straight up the jump. And I was in CT's show the other night. I think that was Friday. Yeah, Friday night. Friday night I was on CT's show. And I was going back and forth with JP, the usuals, JP, the Canadian twin sisters. Well, and I saw CM in the chat trying to go in and trying to put his little 2 cents in there. But here's the thing. I'm the one that kicked off the CM bash, calling him a squatter and his nose, him looking like a Section 8 Mr. Potato Head. I'm the one that kicked that off like months ago. Months ago, I kicked it off. So whenever he tries to get a chance, he hides in the chat. He goes in the chat and he tries to come in and throw little zingers at me, but they're lame. But here's the thing about me. I don't like or dislike anybody in these so-called YouTube streets. I don't even use that kind of terminology. But I don't like or dislike anyone on these YouTube streets. I come in here first for entertainment, two for information. And I get my information way somewhere else. Way somewhere else. I don't get my information, my YouTube information. I don't go in sectors and sector people and these back and forths. This is just silly shit. This is entertainment. And that's all it's going to be. Why is this freaking... If anybody's in here, just throw me down. And this screen I'm looking at, it keeps twirling like, there's an internet issue or something like that. And I don't like that shit. But anyway, about a few minutes ago, about 30 minutes ago, I was over there at CM's. I was looking at CM's show. I wasn't in his chat, because I saw where he subscribed to my channel, and I appreciate that. But I was looking at his show. Sometimes when I watch Chaotix rebroadcast, I fall asleep several times because I just can't do it. It's just not, I'm an active physical person. That's the main thing. I'm an active physical person. So whether I'm going to the gym, whether I'm just walking, whether I even go shoot some hoop with some of the old school homies, or we go play, sometimes we'll get out in the field and play flag football because we ain't trying to hurt each other like that. But we're active. So whether I'm doing that, the last thing I'm doing, not to knock it, is getting on 4 to 6 hour live streams. So the only live stream, and I've watched some like while I'm working out, see if something is interesting somebody is talking about. And even though me and CM now we ain't went back and forth. I just bum on his runny booger nose ass. I like, for the most part, how he just gets on there and talks. And it reminds me of the podcast, because if I'm consuming content, I'm mainly consuming audio podcast on Spotify, XM satellite, XM radio, or iHeart. That's my main way I get content and entertainment, through audio podcasts. Because for some reason, maybe it's a brain mechanism thing with me. When I watch live streams on YouTube, just watch it. If I'm not active in them, if I'm just sitting there watching them, I would doze off. But for some reason, I can listen to an audio podcast, because they usually range from an hour, hour and a half, maybe even just 30 minutes. I was watching some of my favorite. Now, I was watching they could have been podcasts, but they were just long videos, 30 minutes. Mr. Know-It-All, who talks about a lot of Marvel stuff, which I'm a big fan of the Marvel universe. Anything that talks about Marvel universe, especially with the new Spider-Man movie and X-Men 97 on Disney Hulu, then I'm all in. And those videos usually run maybe 30 minutes at tops, recapping. And I was trying to find out how the new Spider-Man movie was, and a lot of people was with it. So that's what I was watching. But when you have a lot of motherfuckers on a live stream panel, 8 to 10 people, and they're just babbling, and I'm not above it. I can get on there and talk shit maybe once a month or so, but I don't see some of the behaviors and how people can just do it like that. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. Now, I'm going to use CM as an example, because what I was listening to, at first I went on there and I guess Ponder was going back and forth with the Hispanics. That was one issue. But then CM, I guess Ponder left, and it was just CM, and he's in there going back and forth with the people that he's saying that's been doxing him, striking him. Stanley Cross was in there, and I don't watch a lot of Stanley material. I don't, and it's nothing against Stanley. I mean, we've had our words, but like I said, there's nobody on here that I dislike or like. I don't like or dislike anybody on here. I don't have personal affinity for people in these spaces. I just don't. I keep it completely objective. And like I said, there's nobody on here that I dislike or like. I'm neutral when it comes to that. Now I can disagree with something you said, or I can agree with it, but for some reason, people come on these spaces. Yeah, exactly. Lawrence, exactly. What Lawrence just said. Let me put that up there. Is it up? Yeah. CM is fighting with Stanley, Imperius, and Mariah. Now, when I came live last week, I think I was live last week, because you was there, Lawrence. When I came live last week, Imperious came over to my show. It was you, Imperious. It was like 5 of y'all came over there and kicked it with me. And that's cool because I don't do this a lot. I want to get into the habit of doing it because the basis for me just being on YouTube is the technology. I'm a technophobe. I love messing with the gadgets and the apps and the platforms. I could sit up here and like edit video if I feel like it all day. Just look at the videos I make. The editing, the sound and all that stuff, the AI music behind it. I do all of that because I love that part. Just jumping on and just talking, I'll kind of like drift off sometimes. That's why I only go to CT shows. Number one, CT is my guy. That's Frat, and I've been knowing him a long time. As far as YouTube, me and him go back to, we were on 2 battling live streams back in 2020 when everybody was in the house. Yeah. See, Friday night was hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh yeah, that's a sidebar. Ain't Tina a sloppy, raggedy, just, oh my God. I didn't know she was that old. I didn't know Tina was, and I ain't trying to come down on Tina, but she was really trying to talk reckless to Republic Room. Republic Room is in her 50s, ain't had no kids, but Tina has 2. And I'm like, Tina, you got 2 kids by the same guy. Why hasn't he married you yet? And she gave me all these weirdo reasons, but at the same time bragging about how off-brand guys are sending her money and offering her money in casinos and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. You told me you were engaged and you got a ring. You mean this guy let you go around and do stuff like this? Is that what's going on? Is this some pimping? Is this some pimping going on, Tina? Is this some pimping going on? Because if you doing that, taking strange men's money and you got a fiance, he's got to know what's going on. He's got to know, you out there getting it. And if you get it and bringing it home to him, then I can understand. I don't knock the game. I appreciate the game, but you got to let that be known instead of running around here like you just it with 2 kids, no husband. And Mooncakes is better. You're right. Mooncakes has more value. You say Tina is so different from her sister. That's right. Mooncakes is chill, and I'm not really gonna go on. Mooncakes is chill. She says what she says, and she keeps it moving. Where Tina has to have this extra anger. She has an anger about her, and she has been jealous of her sister. And I brought that up, and she just went bananas, But here's the even worse part about that, because it's really not about her. It's about the cupcake, angel food cake ass niggas that was in there co-signing that. Talking about, get him, Tina, get him. But all she kept doing is calling me Leonard. She kept calling me Lenny, referring to Leonard Roy. That's all she could do. Leonard. She couldn't say much else because I was hitting her with truth bombs. You're sloppy. You're disgusting. You're 30 with 2 kids, so you're pretty much disqualified. You're disqualified for the high value sweepstakes. You don't qualify anymore. No man of true value, I don't like really saying the high value stuff, but no man of true value in and of himself that has worked hard and doesn't have all these don't have all this baggage with him, there's no way in the world he's going to want to inherit your baggage. And I forgot who said, I think it was Mulatto. A lot of the guys that come in there and give you money are older guys that are from East India and Asia. Yeah, it's them. Yeah. Guy gave you 2 children and still don't want to marry you? Yeah. Is he on the run? Is he ducking the law? Where is he at? Maybe he's in Canadian correctional facilities. Maybe that's the issue. That's neither here nor there. But I just wanted to not revisit her too much, but the guys that were cupcaking, including CM, that were cupcaking for her in the chat. Maybe they were just doing it because they have an indifference with me, and I'm cool with that. You don't like me, I'm fine. I'm going to still talk my shit, and I'm going to spit it with morals and values. If you're low value, low morals, then you ain't going to like what I'm going to say, because I'm going to stick to my guns and stick to my values. And there's no way in the world, even at my age. And Tina looks like a pretty young lady. I know Mooncakes is. So if they're sisters, I'm sure she's attractive to a certain extent. But personality-wise and qualification-wise, come on. You're a 30-year-old mother of two. The clock is ticking and tacking and tag-a-lacking. But to all you cake-ass niggas that was in there co-signing her, I know you guys, when you look in the mirror, you are disappointed, shamed, and the only thing you can do is hide behind avatars and try to come at a guy like me. Sad, sad, sad. Tina, let me see what you're saying here. Oh, hold on. Let me see. On stage. Now you're saying Tina looks exactly like her sister Mooncakes, except Tina's hair is longer. Wow. Okay. You said you've seen them both cam up. Okay. All right. But is she worth cupcaking for if she already has 2 kids and she's running around the internet tricking out or getting tricked, accepting trick, doing SW, freaky work. Yeah. And like I said, I'm sure she is. If she is Mooncakes Sukta, I'm sure she is attractive to a certain extent. I think Mooncakes has a much better attitude and outlook, but that's because things are more easier for Mooncakes because Mooncakes doesn't have the baggage that Tina has. And yeah, you've seen them cam up, but Tina has a habit of not camming up. And the one time I did see her camming up, there was kids behind her jumping up and down either on the bed or the couch. So wherever she is, she doesn't have enough room to cam up without her kids being behind her doing the fool. Because when you have your own space and you're looking and you're attractive enough, you cam up. So I'm sure it's not her as far as physical or attractiveness wise. I'm sure it's her living situation wise. Shame, shame, shame. Yeah. Well, let's revisit something else. So Chaotic, she does have a hot temper. Exactly. Yeah, she has a hot temper and a foul mouth. She has a drunk old lady's foul mouth, but she is 30. But yeah, she has a drunk. Oh, I'm talking about the old lady that's out in front of the liquor store drunk, foul mouth. The one that's asking for change, and if you tell her you ain't got no money, she starts talking trash and cussing you out. She's begging for money in front of the liquor store, and you tell her you ain't got none, and she calls you broke. But she got 3 or 4 dirty bags in her hand and trying to get a bottle of MD 2020. That's the kind of temper she got. You say, "Oh, I'm sorry, ain't got none." "Oh, you broke? You broke? You ain't got no money? So why are you going there?" Oh, man, get this old woman away from me, man. Dirt. It's hot outside. She got on a dirty coat, some kind of hat with a net on it, dingy brown stockings cut off at the ankles. But she still got the nerve to have a foul mouth. Oh my God. I mean, some people could just be horrible like that. But yeah, she just has a foul mouth. She don't really say nothing like snapping and roasting. She just kind of says that foul mouth bad attitude woman stuff like, you're broke. Why are you looking at my coochie? Just that foul mouth. You would swear that like she was from one of the most horriblest ghettos from Miami to LA. You swear she ain't no different. So I guess Canadian, I guess they ain't too far off. Horrible. But yeah, I appreciate them all. But no likes, no dislike or like. They're cool with me. It's all entertaining. It's all entertaining. Now, I want to revisit something because that's what I'm mainly doing. I'm just having fun. It's Sunday. We chilling. I just want to revisit something I talked about also in a video. A slee stack. And if you don't know what a slee stack is, I want you to look up an old show called The Land of the Lost. A show from like the 80s. This show was from the 80s. It was called The Land of the Lost. It was like this dad and his two kids. They went on some kind of sailing trip in the water and came across some kind of tidal wave. They got swept up in the tidal wave and they woke up in the prehistoric times with, you remember that show? Yeah. and one of their antagonists, and it was a little cave boy. That used to be on the show too. I forgot what his name was. He was from the prehistoric land. Some little furry cave boy, looked like a little baby Chewbacca. That's probably where they got the idea of Chewbacca from that little cave boy. But I forgot what he was called. But there was some amphibian, some reptilian creatures on there. Like looked like they came from another planet, but for some reason they was there too. And they was called slee stacks. And when they came around, you could hear them coming because they'd be like, oh, they're gonna do slee stacks. I remember my older brother got in trouble. We was looking at Land of the Lost, and we was in the back room looking at the TV. And back then, we had like smaller TV sets. They weren't like big TV sets. You know, the big TV was like a big old box, and it sat in the den or the living room. Then you had another medium TV that was in my sister's room. She got the medium TV, and we got the smaller TV. So we had to kind of really get close to look at the TV. So we looking at TV, and Land of the Lost was on, and my brother, the slee stacks came. So my brother didn't know my mom was home. He didn't know my mom was at home. I think she had came home from work or something. And he was like, he screamed out, "Get that goddamn slee stack." And my mama heard him. Oh man, she went upside his head. Oh, and he cussed, but he didn't know my mom was there. So he jumps up when them slee stacks came, and I think they was throwing rocks at him. They was doing something. And my brother said, "Get them goddamn slee stacks." My mom said, "Bugger, what you say, boy?" Oh, boy, she got the popping him, pop. Oh man, he didn't even come back in the room. I think I don't know if he went out in the backyard and sat down, or if he just went on outside and just took off. But he didn't come back in the room and watch the rest of the show. I remember that to this day. Sometimes I'll bring it. I said, "Say, man, remember when you was cussing him and mama heard you?" He's like, "Get them goddamn slee stacks." Because back then, you couldn't say that. You couldn't say damn. You couldn't say lie. You couldn't say like, "They lying on me," or "She lied on me," or "He lying on me." That was a curse word. Saying the word lie, like somebody lied on you, that was a curse word to your parents back then. Yeah, but he said, "Damn." Shoot, I wonder what would have happened if he would have said "mother." Look, I wonder if he would have said that word, because that really wouldn't have got it. Because my daddy wasn't at the house then. My daddy was still out. But shoot, mom wasn't up. So if he would have said the MF word, not only would she would have popped him up, she would have told my dad, and my dad would have been like, "Boy, come here. Yeah. Do that old thick Levi belt on him, bop. But yeah, that's what. So speaking of a sleeve stack, that old ghetto welfare sleeve stack JP crawled out of his hole and came on CT's show and tried to talk his talk like, and it's always based on what women like. For him, that's his achievement, to be able to get a woman and, be able to have sex. That's a big achievement for him. But if you're a man of means, if you're a man of value, you don't have to go out seeking that. You don't. It's going to show up anyway. It's just a part of the benefits of the path. It's not. You'll get to a point in your life, and I hope young men get to hear this. You'll get to a point in your life where when you got it, and things are working out for you, and you got your own, they'll show up. They'll show up. You don't have to look for them. And there's nothing you have to brag about. You got some guys that brag about it, because some guys are just, oh no, they just, yeah. They got to tell the fellas some new conquer they had. And when we were out and about and we was getting their females and all that, it was self-evident. It was nothing we had to brag about. It was happening. It was understood. And what's understood don't need to be discussed. And when it's not understood, if you're not getting it like that, then you got to talk it all the time. Am I right or wrong? And it's rare for him. It looks like it's rare for him to just get it, period, because it ain't quality. Because I've seen some of these folks he's talking about. It ain't quality. It's just the fact that he feels like he's still winning. So he uses this whole thing. And I hate to make this show about him, but since I'm just reflecting on the CT show I was on, but since he kept saying that, yeah, you squares and whatever he said, you busters, they don't want to mess with y'all. They want to mess with the thugs. They want to mess with the thugs. Okay, have at it. Have at it. Because it's all about the quality. It's all about the quality. And what happens with that is that's only a fun thing. It's a fun thing. And I'm going to tell you this, a lot of those type of women, they end up in the lowest positions in life ever. I'm going to tell you, so I had a partner named Greg, right? And I'm trying to think of where we met. That we was out and about. I don't know if we was at the mall. Now, Greg was kind of square. He was cool. He's still at home with his parents, but he was always able to keep a nice ride. He always had like a Lexus or a Benz or something. He was always able to keep a nice ride, but he stayed at home with his parents. But he was still square. But he's still cool to hang around with, and we don't judge nobody. So he met. Where was we at? Was we at the mall or somewhere? And he met this chick. And I know her name. I'm not going to say her name. And nice, pretty, light-skinned chick. He met her, talked to her, and from what we see, he won, right? He won with her. So what happened was we was all out eating. This was like on a Friday night. And on Friday night, there was this place called Pappadeaux's. And this was the 90s. Pappadeaux's was popping in the 90s. As a matter of fact, late 90s, early 2000s. I think Kevin Samuels was working at one. But we was at a Pappadeaux's at a happy hour. And he was with her. And this when Pappadeaux's was fairly new to black folks going in there and kicking it. Pappadeaux's has always been around, but as far as black folks going into the happy hour, it was new then. And this was like the late 90s. I'm thinking this was the late 90s or even early 2000s maybe. So he was at Pappadeaux's. He had him with her. And a group of guys came in. Now, these guys were kind of popular as being D-boys. They was probably having D-boys. And you were still wearing your jewelry and all of that. And they were real dark, had the hairstyles, but you kind of knew them. They had that reputation as being D-boys. So we're sitting at the table. She's there. She's looking at one of them. And she says this. She says, he didn't understand because he's square, but I picked up on it. I think I picked up on it, and another cat that was with us, B Ray, he was right there. And we looked at each other because we like, man. She said she looked at one of those guys. I think he was one of the taller ones, the tall, dark-skinned guy. He had on this big old, I think he had on a thick herringbone chain, thick herringbone chain. And she was looking at him, and she's like, she says, Greg, you better get me out of here. She says that. Now, I'm looking at the guys. I'm looking at her, and her head is kind of down, but she's looking up at this guy. She's looking up at him like she's choosing, because that's what she was doing. She was choosing. She was mentally choosing. So she was pretty much, she said, Greg, you better get me up out of here, with a little slick smile, but she's choosing, dude. And I'm saying this, and Bo heard it, and we looked, and we're like, man, no, this bitch didn't. We're like, no, this bitch didn't just say that. So shortly after that, I mean, we stayed. We stayed there and ate and drank and had a good time. But that was still an uncomfortable situation. And we felt funny. We felt funny for our dude. We felt bad for our dude because this chick but he was unaware. He's kind of like, what? He's giggling. When she said it, he's giggling like, what you talking about? What you talking about? What? She's saying, hey, Greg, you better get me up out of here if old dude, if old dude choose on me, I'm going to choose back. I may not leave with him, but I'm gonna give him my number on the slick, or something's gonna happen to where me and him gonna start hanging. I'm choosing up on this dude. And that was, so I'm saying that's late 90s, maybe early 2000s. That's where it started at. That's where it started. This is nothing new. It's just more open because you got social media. So fast forward. And that was like late 90s, early 2000s. And I remember, like I said, I know her name. I know her. But what was but like I said, these chicks usually end up on the low end of things. When they get ran through by all these so-called street guys and all this other stuff, they don't get picked up by a guy with value that knows himself and knows what he's worth and knows what he can have. They don't get picked up by those guys. So it's not like what JP was saying. Yeah, they treat y'all like this and then they come to the thugs. No, those type of chicks end up living at the bottom, just like you, JP. Just like you. They end up at the bottom just like you. Because let me tell you what happened to her. We're at a concert. This was like, what, maybe 8-10 years later? We're at a concert. What was it, a summer jam? I think it was a summer jam, the radio station concert. I'm thinking the groups were like, man, I'm trying to think of the groups, but it's not that important. But we're at the summer jam. So, you get in the gate. And inside the gate, there's the ticket booth. And then there's the arena where the actual concert is happening. So we go to the ticket booth, get our tickets. Guess who's working the ticket booth? That funky broad. She's working the ticket booth. It was me and the home Greg. It was me, Greg, and I don't know the other. I don't remember that, but I know it was 3 of us. It was me, Greg, my square homeboy, still my partner. Still a square, but not as square as he used to be. But guess who was working the mother effing ticket booth? That same bra. That same bra. So we finna enjoy the concert. We finna go hang out and scream and holler and choose and campaign at the concert. She has to work the ticket booth. She had on the venue shirt, which was a short sleeve button shirt. She wasn't fly like she was when Greg met her in the mall. She had on the work shirt, a kind of loose, baggy work shirt at that. Had on the work khakis, taking the ticket money behind the booth. And I know she remembered us. I know she remembered Greg. I know she remembered us. And when she saw us, when she saw especially him, she kind of just dipped her head down a little bit and said, "Hey." I said, and I remembered her. I said, "Hey, what you been up to?" "Oh, just working." That's what she said. So, you know, that working at the ticket booth, that's like seasonal type work. That's venue work. You don't work there unless there's a venue. So she probably got some kind of other low-level job. Yeah. But you got to work that ticket booth. See, you ain't living high and mighty on thug life, especially not JP thug life, because that doesn't come with value. That doesn't come with earnings, because it's popular and charismatic and all that he says he is. For him, it doesn't equate to value. It doesn't equate to monetary value. So he'll say something lame like, "Y'all always, pursuing money, always making it about money, but y'all don't got no power," which doesn't make sense whatsoever. Because if you have money, that comes with the power. A Slee Stack, JP, or Janky P, or J-Pac. You have the charisma and all that to get the low-level black aunties with the mustaches, but it's not equating to value to help you provide the life that your family actually deserves. You're not even trying. You're not even trying. You're a Slee Stack. And let me tell you something. I was listening to Leonard Roy did a video about JP. He said, JP knows what y'all don't know. He knows that those things. No, Leonard. JP knows nothing about taxes at the end of the year. He doesn't have that kind of business sense. His sense doesn't go past the silly shit that he says on YouTube already. He doesn't have enough business sense to know, because when I asked him, when he was when he's on welfare and he was just bragging about the food truck money and all this extraneous money he was making back then, this was like a year or two ago, I asked him, JP, does the welfare office know that you're getting all these additional funds in collecting welfare? He shut the F up. And I told him, you know what? I'm going to call the welfare office and let them know, the Wisconsin Milwaukee welfare office, and let them know you're getting these extra funds. He shut up. I think he calmed down. So no, Leonard, if you're listening to this, he doesn't have the business sense or the sense of taxes and money to know that there's taxation for the money you earn on YouTube. He doesn't know that. His knowledge doesn't go that far. His knowledge doesn't go far at all. You know, like you say, I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. That's as far as his knowledge goes, as far as he can throw him. That ain't far. So there's nothing special or there's no secret knowledge that he has that other YouTubers don't have, not knowing that their money is taxed. No, he doesn't know that. See, because if he was earning on YouTube, he wouldn't even know that either. He'd get taxed just like them, and he'd probably lose a percentage of those welfare benefits because of that tax information that is passed. They'll say, oh, he got this much on YouTube and he's collecting welfare. Oh, let's deduct that. Yeah, he doesn't have that sense. Because if he had that sense, he wouldn't even be on here asking for donations. The money wouldn't, a term in regards to money finances, cash apps, Venmos would not come out of his mouth, knowing that it could be reported and then doubly reported. Yeah, that's how the system works. So no, he doesn't have that knowledge. He doesn't know anything special. So let's surmise it like this. Yeah, to be charismatic, like you tell us, that all the women want to come. The women in sex doesn't equate to value, fun. It doesn't. The women you lay up with, you're not charging, and if you were, they ain't paying. Homie, Janky P, J Pac, Thug Life. No, not when you got to sit up there and mix and season chicken in a dirty room with unfolded clothes. No. Nobody wants to live in those conditions just for a roll in the hay. Nobody. And that's some Black Moses news right there for you. Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, motherfucker. All right, let's move on. It's Sunday. I'm chilling. Let me see where I'm at now. Ooh, man, I did 46. Okay, I'm almost at an hour. Hey, if you're enjoying the content, throw a thumbs up. I'm throwing zingers out. I'm throwing information that here's a real truth, because I barely do live streams, but I guarantee you when I do them, the verbiage I use, the phrases I use are used elsewhere. Why? Because I got it like that. I got this conversation. I got this talk. I come from that. Yeah. I guarantee you it's stuff that I done said years back that I hear other content creators saying today. I hear it. And one thing about me, and I hate to say this, I come from the era of music, especially hip hop, to where you don't bite. You don't bite another rapper's rhymes. You don't bite rhymes. Let me take this. Hold on. You don't bite rhymes. We don't do mimics. And I come from that. All my standards and values are still steeped in that. You don't bite rhymes. You don't mimic another person's words or phrases, especially if you've never heard them before. See, because there's stuff that you hear throughout the community between the OGs or even some of the older men growing up. You hear it and you adopt it. But then there are some things that you take what they said and then you turn it into a phrase or word of your own, and it resonates. And that's what I've done throughout the years that I've been on here. And I've heard other people use my words and phrases. Parts of a song that nobody thought they could flip into a phrase or a cool saying. I've done that. And other people have heard it and said, man. But what I hate, now I don't mind people using the words and phrases that I've introduced within these spaces. Is what I hate is a mimic. I hate a mimic. Well, hate is a strong word. I dislike mimics. What a mimic is someone or something that takes what you've done, mimics it, and acts like it's original unto them. That's what they do. Like I'll say a cool phrase or a word or introduce a word that somebody's not used to, but it sounds cool. And they'll take it somewhere. Like you'll hear it here and they'll take it to another live stream or do their own video and they'll use what I said and they'll make it seem like it's original unto them. Like nobody ever else has said this. I've never heard, like never heard it before. And I've heard a lot of people do that. Now, sometimes I'm flattered by it because back in the day, I would say something and another live streamer would go to their show. Mainly it was guys would go to their show and they would repeat what I just said on the previous stream and put it on their stream. And you would see the comments say, oh man, that just, comment on it or think what they said was cool, and that person would act like they just originally came up with that shit when they just heard me say it maybe an hour ago on another stream. Because when we were all in the house because of what happened in 2020, when all that happened, before they let us go back out, everybody was in the house on live streams. And I was roasting back then too. It's only natural. And I was popping it. And people would hear what I say. And they went like today. People go to several. I don't go to several live streams. I'll say some shit and you won't hear from me for another 2 weeks up to a month. But somebody has heard what I said, have taken it, and have spread it around to another live stream. And then you got 4 people that are heard on that live stream, and they'll go to other live streams, and then it'll just recycle all the way around. I'm like, damn. It's happened so much to where I'm like, man, it's not, what's that word when something happens? Man, when something happens twice, man, I forget that word. Deja vu. It's not deja vu. It's just something has been mimicked and repeated so much from the original source to where when it comes back to the original source, you'd be like, damn, it's not deja vu. Now, being that nothing is original anymore, music isn't original. These live streams, everybody has these different live streams. They talk about the same thing. They just talk about it in a different way, or they'll see it from their different viewpoint. And that's cool. But when you're usually talking about the same thing over and over and over, people tend to start repeating themselves, and people start to using stuff that they heard about the same subject on another live stream. They'll take it to this live stream. Nobody is setting new ground. Nobody is pioneering. Nobody, not anymore. And it's not like you can't. Those days are not over. There's much space for creation, as infinite, as multi-infinite as your mind is. There's always something new to bring to the table. Always. But for some reason, creativity amongst content, quote unquote, creators are stuck. They're stuck in a rut. Not only are they saying shit that I've said back in the day, they're saying shit from even further back. They're using old rap phrases from the 80s and 90s now. Now, is it because they are not creative, or are they just lazy? Because how lazy is it for you not to think and relate words? Or maybe they just, I'm seeing a lot of dumbing down now. A lot of the dumbing down plans that were initiated back after Gen X. The dumbing down process started at the bottom end of Gen X. It started at the bottom end. I'm like towards the top of Gen X. So towards the bottom, that's when they started the dumbing down. There's a book called The Dumbing Down of America. I read that book, was it in the late 90s? I read that book. And everything that guy said, because he was basing it on what was going on in the classrooms and what school districts were changing and how they were taking books out of school, certain books. And it left those people with blank slates or more narrow views of the world, but more so blank slates. I asked, I think it was Blacks Who Defy, or I asked CT, did he see the video of the guy that was walking around college spring breakers? These were college kids, black college spring break. So these were mainly college kids. And he had this little card on him. And he was asking them, could they read what was on that card? and they couldn't even get past the first sentence. They could sound out the initial word. They could sound it out, but they couldn't complete it. So if the word was like fabrication, they'd say something like fabricosity or fabric vacation. They would say something. At least they knew what the first letter was, which was L. He was asking them these words, and I'm like, man, he even showed what his card said. It was just a sentence or maybe a couple of sentences. I think it was just a sentence. And they could, it was a couple of sentences. And they couldn't even get past the first sentence. And yeah, these were college Black Spring breakers. But even if I'm inebriated, I can still read a sentence. I would have to be sloppy drunk to even not to attempt to do it. And these people, some of these people I'm not going to attribute it to alcohol. I'm going to attribute it to the plans are almost over of the dumbing down of America. You'd be surprised how many people, and let me say something about Black America. When they dumb down America, it affects you 10 times greater, Black America. You understand that, right? Because you're always behind the 8 ball. So whatever affects the greater societies or the majorities in America, it affects you 10 times worse. So if they're dumbing down the majority, what does that leave you? And you can blame the school systems or the school districts. You can blame that, but you really can't. You really can't. I grew up with a World Encyclopedia case in my house. I remember when the guy was going door to door in my neighborhood selling World Encyclopedias. And my mom purchased a World Encyclopedia. And she loved it so much to where she bought a freaking bookcase to sit them all in. Because I can't say that I was the first kid. And I know we're just talking, we're just chilling. I wasn't the first kid to go to college in my family. My oldest brother and sister, they started out, went to college. There was 9 of us. 7 of us went to college. 2 chose not to go. Yeah. So I can't sit and say, man, I'm the first one in my family to go to college. No. My family was going to college back in the 60s. So you couldn't be a dummy around my mom. You couldn't. My dad, he didn't really care long as you worked and earned a living. But my mom, you couldn't be a dummy around. She'd correct your language. She would. She'd correct your language. My mom went to college. My mom went to Grambling. She would correct your language. You say a wrong phrase or word, she'd be like, She said, And my mom was from Louisiana and had that accent. And still, you couldn't talk bad language around her. It wasn't happening. It just wasn't. Yeah. Is somebody trying to come in here? Oh, nah. Yeah. So that wasn't happening. It is the Sunday Chill. You are tuned into Black Moses News. So the dumbing down America, and I'm seeing a lot of the dumbing down America right on YouTube, which is another reason why I can't frequent these live streams. I can't. Because sometimes I hear stuff and I'm like, wow, I can't believe they just said that. And I can't believe people agreed with them. You want to, honestly, I'm going, and this is my opinion. You can prove it for yourself. You want to hear some forward-thinking people that will really inject something into your mind for you to go and try to learn for yourself. Check out the audio part, pretty much any audio podcast on Spotify. Now, my favorite Spotify podcast is the Michael Rappaport. Man, that dude is hilarious. Hilarious. But for some reason, listening to those audio podcasts on Spotify, it's just stimulating to the brain. As to where live stream Ignay panel channels are not, just not. That is the continued. And I used to ask, I said, man, why do you think YouTube would start snatching these channels? You would think that YouTube would start snatching these channels, but they're not. Why? Because YouTube is going along with the plan. The plan is the dumbing down and to make this society as ignorant, carnal, and savage as possible, where everything you think is hand to mouth, where everything you think comes from the lower end. That's pretty much it. And that's sad to say, but it's evident when you watch YouTube. I'm serious. You get to being around some of these spaces and you'll end up like them because you will adopt their habits. And I'm not above that, but I've learned. I have the knowledge. The knowledge is stored in number one. I always say, I love to work. I love to learn. I love to work. I love to learn. So I'll never lose my thirst for knowledge. And I'll never lose my thirst to find new opportunities to work at. Yeah, man, if I'm sitting on my ass, I'll go crazy. I'll go crazy. For real. You know, my pops died late 60s, but my mom, when she couldn't do nothing, when she stopped working, she started volunteering. And even when she wasn't volunteering that day, she was in her yard up until the age of 90. Mine was sharper than a tack. She knew bullshit when she heard it from a mile away. Now, that some of that is natural from her, but a lot of it came from her being around my dad, because my dad would call out some bullshit. You couldn't bring it around him. Hell no. That was my dad's favorite. My dad's favorite two terms was hell no and damn that. You come around talking some bullshit, telling him some bullshit story so you can borrow some money or something like that, or you could stay. You like, hell no, damn that. and even before he passed, when he would say damn that, boy, I would just start laughing. Even me, I adopted that from him. So when I'm around people that know my dad, that grew up around us, and they say something, I say, damn that. I'll say, damn that. And if my brother or sister hear me say it, they'll start laughing because they know where it comes from. Damn that. And to a lot of you people here on YouTube clowning, embarrassing yourself, saying some of the most nonsensical things, damn that. Damn you. Oh, snap. Hold on. Oh, okay. I see it. You know what I don't do and what I'm not going to do right now until I become a regular. I got to become a regular on these live streams. I just have to. Why? Because there's opportunity here. There's not opportunity in these weird ass goofy spaces where people go back and forth on these channels, but the opportunity is here. I love what YouTube is kicking out. I love the AI tools that YouTube has introduced. I use them. This is not my only YouTube channel. I have other channels because I have lots of interest. Instagram too. This Black Moses channel is my fun channel that I use to come and kick it and talk shit within this sector or this space. What do they call it? They was calling it at one time. Was it the bottom of YouTube? Bottom of YouTube. Boyd. They were calling it Boyd. I don't know why they got away from that. But yeah, I come over here to have fun in these Boyd spaces. Yeah. And when I leave these Boyd spaces, I'm trying to pick up something new. I'm picking up a lot of AI that I love. I mean, it ain't no secret. It's here. Yeah, Boyd. Yeah. Nobody, look, thank you, Lawrence. I'm going to put that up. I'm just going to say this. Number one, I'm a man. So, like if I see a stream with a bunch of women, like, right, then I'm not going there. Number one, because I'm a man. Now, I've been over the only channel that I've been on that's mainly woman based and usually talks about woman issues and have a majority. I've been on Here for the Tease channel a couple of times. But that's because a couple other guys have come on there. But I don't do that. That's a no-no for me. That's a no-no. And I'm knocking people that do, but when I see 3 and 4, 5, 6 women on a panel and they're talking issues that are mainly women issues, or they're talking about places they've been and stuff like that, and a guy comes in and starts trying to create his own conversation, I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Let those women rock out. I don't do it. That's an issue. That's an issue. But that issue comes from the not only the dumbing down of America, but what else has also succeeded is the effeminism or feminating of men. And I'm not talking about LGBT. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about regular men. Regular guys have been heavily effeminized. So now to where they can go around women's spaces talking the same talk or just melting into the conversation and be comfortable with that. And I can't be comfortable with that. And the people I know in life, in real life, they're not comfortable. Man, I was over my partner B's house. He was having a little get together. I think he had like some people in town, and we was over there just drinking and just having a good time. And the ladies, the women, they went to another end of the dining area in his house. And you could kind of hear what they were talking about. And one of B's cousins, there was a guy. And we all overheard him talking a little bit because, you know, women get to talking and laughing and all that. Well, one of B's cousins that was over there where we were, he heard it and he replied and made a comment. And B's cousin said, hey, man, you don't want to get in a conversation with those women. You don't want to do that. He just said it naturally. It's a natural thing. Now, I don't know where y'all from, and I don't know how it works with y'all. But if there's a group of women, unless you're, you know, like that, kind of on that side, and you want to sit up there and like, you know, we always had the little boys in the neighborhood that would dance and do the jump rope with the women, and we knew what it was with them. We knew what they were, you know. But naturally, you didn't go off where a bunch of girls were, a bunch of women were. Now, if there was one you liked, you would try to get her off to herself or with you, or take a walk. You know, let's walk to the store, let's walk to the candy house or something like that. But you ain't just going to be up there laughing and dancing and doing all the little dances and stuff with the girls in the garage. You ain't going to be doing that. If you and your partners are walking down the street and see that, and we got a bat, we just walk into the park, go play some basketball. We ain't finna stop and, you know, we're going to let the girls be the girls. And a lot of you guys on these YouTube spaces aren't letting the girls be the girls in their spaces. You're trying to disrupt their spaces. You're trying to start arguments and indifferences and things on spaces that girls inhabit regularly. You know why? Because even if what they're saying is wrong, even if what they're saying is wrong or off base, or even if it's right, whatever they're saying, I'm not going to try to come in there and inject my thoughts and opinions in that space. I'm not. But that campaign is pretty much winning, man. There's not too many places you can go now to where you see guys that are highly emotional. They're just chatties, like what Dame Dash say, chatty patties. They're easily offended. You can't. And they are comfortable in multi-woman spaces. Even if there's like a group of females and you're just in there and you're comfortable just chatting with them, they'll even look at you like, won't you go and do something with the fellas? There's spaces to socialize with men and women, and then there's spaces that are just for the women. Just like when we go to the basketball court, or when we sitting out drinking beer on the back of the truck or talking shit. Ain't no woman finna come up there and just start trying to parlay with us. She might try to come up there and pull one of the guys. If that's her husband or a boss, she might try to pull him away, but she ain't just finna sit up there and be laughing and talking shit with us. Because she might hear something she don't want to hear. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying it as just watch yourself. I'm not saying I'm saying, no, I'm just saying watch that, man. You check yourself. But that's what YouTube has created with these. No, I'm not going to blame YouTube. That was already there. That was already in those particular people. YouTube didn't create it. YouTube is just a platform. But it has allowed these comfort zones to where people feel comfortable doing stuff like that. Now I go to CT show, and normally CT show is well balanced. It's well balanced. Sometimes I've seen CT in the past where he has calmed everybody down and just let 2 or 3 women talk. And I'm cool with that. That's cool. It's not cool when he does that and a guy comes up and complains that he did that. Because I've heard, and these is like past shows where he has done that. I just want to let the ladies talk. And he takes all the guys down, let the ladies talk. And you always have one guy to go, CT, why you let them bees talk? Why you do that? There's a problem. There is a problem. And y'all are not realizing. Should I, man, I've been on here almost an hour and a half. I didn't think about throwing up the link. I didn't even do that. I just let you guys in the chat, you're hearing me. Some people are hearing me. They ain't chatting, they ain't saying nothing. They just listening, peeping. I see you looking with your looking ass. Yeah. Yeah. Like Martin said, run, tell that. Run, tell it. Listen. I'm popping these peas. I'm doing it, man. I'm live streaming. Hopefully I'll start doing more of it. And here's the thing, man. I know a lot of people plan their live streams. They plan what they're going to talk about. And you should. And you should. Take notes, make a bullet list, write it down. But this is just straight off the top of my head coming from my chesticles. Yeah. I notice when I say, I see you looking with your looking ass, folks left. Yeah. Yeah. There are always less thans. Always less thans. Oh, man. Lawrence, I appreciate you. And whoever else came in here to hear me just popping my shit, whoever came in, no, I ain't ending it yet because there's something else I wanted to talk about. and I'm trying to figure out what it was. Lawrence, if you want to ask me a question, since you're in the chat, if you want to ask me a question, you're more than welcome. I'll be more than happy to answer your question. Or if you want to kick off a conversation in the chat, because I know you really don't jump on streams. You don't jump on streams. You just do the chat. I did a video. Oh, Mega Band. That's Laura. Little Roy. I did a video about red pill black guys. Hold on, let me put it up there. Let me take this one down. I did a video about red pill black guys, and YouTube made the video 18 plus to view. Well, it's the language, Leonard. It's the language. I'm gonna be honest with you, Leonard. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you say that, and I don't know how you title the video, I don't know, but when you use that language, YouTube, okay, yeah, because that language, and I know you're not trying to, but I know YouTube, and they can look at that. And excuse me, YouTube look at that as a type of look at that as for 18 under and under. They would look at it as grooming younger guys. Oh, you call them hot pocket? Yeah, I hear you say that, hot pockets. I be hearing that. Yeah. So yeah, they're picking, dude. I'm tell you something, Leonard, and whoever else is in here. I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. YouTube is about to implement facial recognition AI technology. Why? That's one thing I want to talk about. I'm glad you brought it up. And it's still something else in the back of my mind, but I can't think of. But this was one thing. YouTube is about to implement facial recognition AI technology. They've always had facial recognition technology. And usually, if there's enough people reporting a person, then they will strike that person. But now what happens is, and why I'm telling you this, what happens is, if they strike somebody off of YouTube, if they strike their channel, and that person ends up on another stream and they're cammed up, and YouTube can facially recognize that person through the AI technology, facial recognition technology, they will ban that entire channel. They'll strike that entire channel that person is on. They don't do it now, but they're about to implement it. Facial AI technology. And a person, and I'm not going to say that person's name, but there's a person that I lost 2 or 3 channels on YouTube, but they're always able to go up on somebody else's channel and cam up. And I like this. This is one of the people I started listening to early when I started listening to YouTube. This is one of the first people I started listening to. And he's lost several channels on YouTube, but he's still able to go on other people's channels. I've seen him on some other channels, and I'm not going to say the name because whenever YouTube implements this facial recognition AI technology, they're not going to tell you. They're going to test it first. To see. And there will be some model channels or some test channels that they will strike, because when they changed their terms of service, and a lot of it had to do with what they considered inauthentic content, they just started getting rid of channels. But with this facial recognition channel, if they struck somebody from YouTube, their channel, and that person can go on other channels, they're going to start striking those channels too, striking them down. Let me see what you got here. talk about the tax evasion thing via AI tech working with AdSense, Cash App, Super Chats. Oh, well, that's just going to speed it up. Leonard, that's just going to speed it up. They already do that, because taxes were mainly done through paperwork, your 1020s, all your forms and 1040s and all that, whatever was reported. But then you had the companies that reported like medical expenses, like if you had one of those flex spending accounts, or if you pull money from your 401k, right? Well, they've been doing it, but it was usually due to those W-2 forms, those tax forms. But now, with the AI tech working, it's gonna speed it up now. It's gonna speed it up. But here's the thing. That tech is still a long ways off because they don't have enough. And when it comes to AI, you got to have what's called humans in the loop. Look up that term. You got to have humans in the loop, because if you don't have humans in the loop that can check that information, then the AI can do what's called hallucinate and give incorrect information. So you got to keep humans in the loop. And right now, they don't have enough humans in the loop, and definitely not the IRS or the government is going to hire an influx of workers just to be a human in the loop for the AI tech. And it's years off. So just say a person was getting Cash Apps and AdSense, I mean, like out the wazoo. Like, I'm going to say at least 10 to 20,000. I'm going to say 10 to 20,000 in Super Chats, Cash Apps, and all that other stuff. They was getting that. Then it could be years with this AI tech that they found that out. The only way they can find that out is still through the tax forms. And that could still take time. Where the IRS sends you a form and say, hey, we got this form here. It says you spent this, you had this much flex spending. That amount is taxable. You need to pay this amount. This additional amount on your taxes and fees and interest will apply. I don't know if you know how it goes. You was in the military. But that's how that works. So it is there, but there's not enough humans in the loop. We're way too far from AGI. We're too far from that. That's when things really get scary. Artificial general intelligence. We're already at AI agents that can automate tasks. But the task they're automating is still simplistic. Like you got your AI agent that could automate your email responses or automate, your simplified workflow. They can set up meetings for you, send out the emails about the meeting. They can do all of that. They can even, if you make content and you use an AI agent, they can plan your next video based on the niche that you're in. They can do that. Plan your video, script it out. You got AI agents that can do that, but AGI is when it really gets scary for the people that are scared of AI. The only way you can beat AI is be on top of it or be a human in the loop that understands it. So I don't understand this, and that's why I talk about that dumbing down. That was another thing, that dumbing down of America, because people have been dumbed down, especially, and I hate to say Black community, but a lot of the Black community has been dumbed down. So just think, they're dumbed down, and here comes AI. So you're talking about a group of people who didn't learn in the first place. And now the simple stuff that they learned, they may have to relearn it in order for it to apply within the AI space. That's not happening. So what do you have? You have a lot of people that's seeing their future going down the toilet bowl, and they're automatically complaining. They're complaining about the surface level AI, because people have been complaining about AI for 2 years now. It's going to take our jobs. It's going to take our jobs. No. And the people that are saying, no, AI is not, the people that understand it and know how to use it, that's who's going to take your job. but people are still arguing. Even people on YouTube. I've heard CT complain about AI. I've heard him and I'm like, dude, you went to college. You're an intellect. There's no way in the world you're talking down or being negative when it comes to AI. Especially when you use AI thumbnails. You got to go beyond that. And what AI has done as far as me is made learning fun again, because there's always something new within AI that you can learn. My videos, the last a few videos that I've made, I've prompted that AI music. I've prompted the visuals. I've used the AI editing app that edits the visual, the animation. Yeah, that stuff you used to have to do with Adobe After Effects and Adobe Premiere. Even those apps now have implemented AI just to sell you a high-ass subscription. But I'm not hating. Business is business. Business is business. One person I love to listen to talk business and money, a brother by the name of John Hope Bryant. And he's an AI advocate. I love to hear how John Hope Bryant talks about AI and just talks about money and learning finance in the free enterprise system, period. One of my favorite casts to listen to, John Hope Bryant. I like to listen to his podcast on Spotify. Oh, hold on. Moses, did you think it was odd how CT was begging for money to go on vacation? No. And I told Lawrence this. I responded to Lawrence on a video. If you know anything about an old real estate investor by the name of Carlton Sheets, he used to have a late night program that came on TV. If you wanted to get into real estate investing, part of his program in his old books, his whatever, workbooks. Yeah, he had workbooks because I actually bought the program. Because my dad did rent houses. My dad had 3 rent houses. But I actually bought that program because I was trying to look for another way to get into it, because the way he was, I was like, man, I could do it like this, you know. And one of his principles, the old Carlton Sheets, if you was up late at night looking at TV, looking at Friday night videos, that show Friday night videos, or any other show that came on late at night, and you saw the Carlton Sheets infomercial, one of the principles in his workbooks, in his course, was OPM, other people's money. Yeah. Just like the song, and I heard him say OPP, yeah, OPP, but that concept came from Carlton Sheets. And it really didn't come from him. It was just a phrase that went around in real estate investing and business. You always, even our great president, when he was doing real estate, he was using OPM, other people's money, but he was using it for bigger projects. You think he had all that money to himself that he was investing in casinos and Trump talk? No, he was using the principles of OPM. Now, the only thing with OPM, as far as what Chaotic is doing, is there's no ROI. There's no return on investment, because you're not investing in CT. You're just giving him money. But I don't think it was odd. No. Because the principle is always OPM. If you can use other people's money, you know, and it's not like he's just completely dependent upon these donations. I'm sure him and his wife already had it planned. Everything else is just additional. It's just additional. So no, I'm not going to sit here and say, CT, I'm not going to blast CT or throw stone tablets at CT for asking for donations. No, I'm not going to do that. It's business. It's OPM, other people's money. And if people are willing, now here's the thing. Here's another thing. In business or in trade, it's value for value. So if people are entertained by CT's show and they find value in that entertainment, okay. And they want to show their appreciation in that value, what do? They donate. They donate. And the only reason I'm not going to say I've donated maybe once to CT's channel, and it's not against him. It's because I've used electronic fund transfer applications and I got burned with them. So it's hard for me to trust those applications. Now, Super Chats, maybe, but and I have a Cash App and I have a Venmo, but I used another one. It was Remit, World Remit. And for some reason, they were able to get my information. And next thing you know, my card was getting charged for mukbang. Somebody went to a seafood place and was able to charge my card on seafood mukbangs. And somebody had a subscription service, and I didn't even know this. Went months with money coming out of my account for a subscription service that I thought I had. I thought was mine. It wasn't mine. And it was because I had used I don't know if that application is still there. But yeah. So that's kind of why I'm not on his what is it called? Subscription. What is it? This membership. I'm not on the membership. Well, that's one reason why, because I'm kind of leery of electronic transfer applications. And two, I don't consume enough of CT's product. I'm not saying there's no value to it. It's just that I don't consume it enough. And if I'm going to have a subscription, it's because there's things being offered all the time. Now, if I'm on a show, and because he does this now, he takes the whole video and he'll put it under his subscription, and he'll just put an edited version of the video on his main YouTube page. So if you want to see the dirty, grimy stuff, you got to have a subscription, and that's cool. But if I'm on the show, because a lot of shows that I'm on, he's put them on subscription because the content that I've given him is gold, baby, gold. I'm gonna get you your money's worth. I come in there and the subscriptions come in. I'm not bragging. That's just what it is. You see, when I'm roasting and talking my shit, people start popping in those donations, and in that way I provide value. And anybody else that does it, they provide value too. And I think that's a smart move for him to put that, because some of those shows, man, like I said, it's always a party when I go over there, but some of those shows are worth putting in a subscription. And and honestly, I'm not going to hate. I'm going to say, I hope it's helping him out. I hope it's helping him take care of his life. I don't want to see anybody on here down, and I don't want to see that. I want to see everybody that's succeeding, but a lot of people are using bad plans, or they're going about it the wrong way. So a lot of people are just not doing it. They're just not. And that's what that is. You got some people on here that, honestly, I'm gonna say this: anybody could get on YouTube, but YouTube ain't for everybody. It's just not. Now, this is the soapbox I'm gonna stand on. This is it right here. You have all these other platforms, and some of y'all have very foul mouths. Some of y'all are very racially and religiously indifferent. You are. I don't get into the religion and the politics. I can argue those points, but they're moot points. Why? Because a lot of you cats that get on here talking religion and politics, your ass didn't even graduate grade school. You barely survived high school. But all of a sudden, You're a politician on YouTube. It's so contradictory. You probably fell asleep in class, every class. You probably skipped class, left school early. Right after you ate lunch, you left school. I remember, man, I'm serious. At my graduation, I remember people walked across and they had empty booklets with no diploma in them. Yeah, they was able to walk across, but they had to go to the following summer session just to get that last few credits. So when they walked across, and it was crazy. It was wild because I think they had just started implementing this. They would let you walk because that was the year you were supposed to come out. But then when you opened up your book, your diploma booklet, there was no diploma in there. It's because they kept it until you got those. Say, man. Say, it was like 3 people I remember that happened to. And I had a partner, man, I grew up with down the street from me. And he was a special ed student. He couldn't read, he couldn't write, but he could sit in that special ed class all day. And he got his diploma. And people was like, man, he got his diploma. Oh, I'm serious. Rest in peace to my Nick. He couldn't read or write. I remember the mailman came. I remember the mailman came to his house, and we was all over at his house just hanging out. And the mailman came to deliver an envelope or a package or something, and he had to sign for it. And he told the mailman, I can't use that pen. So the mailman gave him another one, and he said, I can't use that one either. And Negro couldn't read. He couldn't read and he couldn't write. But he went all the way through the school system, because back then, all you had to do, if you were certified special ed, all you had to do was show up. Back then, all you had to do was show up. And you was in like maybe 3 classes, maybe 3. Because they couldn't keep you in the same room all day. So they'd send you to it was another class, like a home ec. You go to home ec and some other class. And then you came back. You usually came back to your main classroom for the most of the day. And that's where I would see my partner over there, see him in there. And I remember that when that mailman came and trying to deliver that package, he said, I can't use that pen. I can't use this pen. He gave me I can't use this one either. And wasn't nothing wrong with them pens. That fool just couldn't write. Rest in peace, my Nick. Oh man, God, dog. But yeah, running it back as far as CT, nah, man. I mean, I think it's those terms y'all use like begging. Wait, and I think it's called, what is it called? Selective outrage. Selective outrage. And I'm kind of sick of selective outrage myself. It's irritating. It's irritating. Because the people you like, and I'm just going to put this in YouTube terms, because the people you like, they can get on YouTube on their streams and they can beg all day. They can say, hit the Cash App, donate to the show. And when them donations are rolling in, if you like that person, you won't say nothing. You might even donate to that person yourself. But let it be a person that you don't like, or let it be a person that you have an indifference with. And they're doing the exact same thing as the person that you like. They're doing the exact same thing. And when they get the donations and the money, you call it begging, or you have an issue with it. No, it's selective outrage. Let's not do that. YouTube, for the most part, unless you actually know the person and had personal contact with the person in your life, YouTube is pretty much a neutral space. People like what they like. If they find value in it, they donate. And even if they find value in it, they don't donate. Maybe they'll just give them a kind word. Hey, I really appreciate your information. I really appreciate your entertainment. I've heard some people come on Chaotic Show and tell them they really appreciate the messages that he's given and the stuff he's learned from listening to Chaotic and other people that have come on the show. That's value. He gave that particular person value. Now, if he doesn't give you value, that's you individually. Like, I think CM is a whole degenerate booger. I really do. But CM is entertaining to some people, and some people will go over there and donate to him. Now, I don't like or dislike CM. And I don't know if CM likes or dislikes me. Like I said, he's coming to a chat and he said things because I bombed on him. I'm the one that kicked off and said he was a squatter. I kicked that off. I kicked off his nose running problems. I kicked that off on a late night CT show. You remember that? Was you there, Lawrence? I kicked that off. All of y'all are just reverberating or reiterating what I said back then. A whole bunch of people was on that show and they started saying, I started the thing that he was a squatter. I said that. Y'all heard me say that. And then everybody starts saying, CM, you're a squatter. You squatting. Yeah, I'm the one that kicked off everything that people say about CM. And there's some other stuff I'm going to say because I ain't through with CM's ass. I ain't through with him. But I don't like or dislike CM. I just have fun bombing on his bum ass. Real talk. Like I said, I don't have anything personal about anybody in here. Not at all. Even though a lot of people may find issues with me and they don't even know me. Moses, did you think that it? Wait a minute, hold on. I put something else. Yes, okay. Yes, I remember. He seems to always be fighting with someone. Yeah. Lawrence, you remember that? Now, I kicked that off, and then somebody from Gospel of Bob heard it. They started saying it over there. I don't know where else he went. They started saying it over there. I think it was Arch Channel. They started saying it over there. Yeah, calling him I kicked that off. I bombed on his ass ridiculously, and he never forgot it. But it wasn't out of hatred or dislike because I think that was my first interaction with CM. And I think he said this is what got me to bombing on him. He tried to talk down on me and Chaotic being in a fraternity. That's what it was. And he was calling us like Boule. And then he said he was Native American, which was ridiculous. So after that, that's all I needed. I just started going in on his ass. But but even that, and I want to give CM grace because CM subscribed to me. Even though he knows I bomb on him, even though he tries to get a little shot in here and there, he still subscribed to me. And I can appreciate that. Like I said, there's no like or dislike when it comes to me. It's just not there. It just ain't. Yeah, me and JP, and JP may not like me, or John Galt, because I've bombed on so many people, they might not like, they may have just grown some kind of indifference with me. But I still can't say that I dislike them or that I like them. I can't say either. Because we're all in this digital space, just, having a good time, filling things out. I don't get too deep with the information. None of y'all can prove what y'all say on here. None of y'all. All these theories, all this pseudo knowledge, most of it is opinionated. A lot of it is theorized. It's not fact. It hasn't been proven. Now, I know I can go to the corner store and get a Bud Ice for 99 cents at any given time. And I can get on the video and show you, hey, let me go down and get the Bud. I don't drink Bud Ice. I can prove that. But you can't prove what another nation is doing if you're not over there living it. A lot of this stuff is theorized or just half-cocked, and you're just saying shit on the internet. It's wild, man, but I guess that's part of the entertainment value. Shit is silly though. And I don't do a lot of it. But when I do, I just try to mold in and have my fun. Because, like I said, it should be entertaining first, informational second. But a lot of y'all are twisting it. Y'all are taking the entertainment for actual information. And a lot of the misinformation that goes out into society, it starts with what a lot of y'all do on these half-cocked live stream panels and these horrible bottom of YouTube channels. It could be including mine. But what I said, all of it is factual. This stuff is coming. This stuff is coming. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Sooner or later, but let me get back to what I really wanted to say, because I've said this maybe a couple of weeks ago. You want to see somebody that's completely, you know what I hate? Well, I'm not going to say hate, but you know what baffles me? Now, we know that YouTube is the flagship application when it comes to this content, right? And they have their TOS. A lot of y'all say TOS, terms of service. You complain about it. You complain about it, but you won't venture out to the platforms. And I'm going to keep saying, every time I come on here, I'm going to keep reiterating this point. You complain about it, but yet you still are coming on here instead of venturing out to other platforms that gives you the room and the space to actually say what you want to say and monetize it without fault, without strike. But here's the cowardly part. Here's the cowardly part. The cowardly part is you won't you're scared to venture out. You are scared to go over there to Rumble and not scared of the platform, but scared that you might not be able to build the little that you've built on YouTube. Because when you go to those other platforms, a lot of y'all, I know CT is over there partially, but some of y'all need to go over there fully, but you're scared. And a lot of y'all have built y'all platforms off of CT. So CT has about, 15,000? I think somewhere around 15,000 subscribers. So y'all go off on y'all channel trying to say things, and you may have maybe 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, and you get some views. But you're trying to say stuff and you get demonetized and you get struck. But instead of you really letting your nuts hang and going to a platform where you can actually build yourself in and of yourself, not off someone else's words, not off someone else's platform, where you are completely new and let your content stand on its own, y'all won't do that. I know it's fear. I know it's fear, because let me tell you something. I would rather like I'm within TOS. I'm within terms of service, but I don't like it as far as these live streams. I'd rather be on Rumble talking my shit. I can't say the N word. I can't phrase things a separate way. Just like you, Leonard, you said something about the red pill community and they took your video or they did something to your video. Well, you could have did the same video on Rumble and it would be rocking and rolling. A lot of y'all like let's use JP, since he's such a popular guy. Let's use JP as an example. JP's channel has been struck off YouTube. You see him hiding in and out, coming in other channels, dipping in other channels. Well, to me, that's cowardly. Because if you're that popular, you have that kind of charisma, that type of earning power, then why don't you go over there to Rumble and say what you want to say and build? I'm sure those people that really like your charm, your personality, your chutzpah, and your talk, the way you talk. I saw you on a Trey the Truth video, and Trey the Truth sat your ass down. And what did you try to do? You tried to crack a joke and be funny. Because I remember you said that to me. You just come on here try to crack jokes. When Trey the Truth sat your ass down, what did you try to do? Crack a joke. And all them other guys just look. You sitting there giggling. All them other guys just sitting there looking at you. They wasn't laughing with you. And that's the thing. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. Oh, that's somebody else. Okay. Yeah, but it's out of fear. And like I said, I'm using him as an example because if he's so popular, then the people that kick it with him and like his information or what he says, because it's really not informational, it's entertaining. Ignorance, silliness in a grown man is always entertaining to watch. It's always entertaining to watch a plane crash. It is. It's always funny to watch a grown man intellectually jump out of a window and hit the pavement face first. It's always a show. But a lot of y'all, I'm using him as an example, but a lot of y'all, man, I don't know about other platforms, but Rumble is giving Rumble and maybe Kick, because a lot of y'all live stream. Y'all don't really do videos, y'all live stream. But I know Rumble and Kick are giving you the opportunity to really say what you want. First Amendment, 100%. But for some reason, instead of going over there and kicking off your own thing, y'all are still hiding behind other channels and other panels on YouTube when your channel has gotten struck or demonetized. You're not saying, F you, YouTube, I'm still here anyway. You're just showing the YouTube spaces or the YouTube streets what a coward you are. Like I said, this Black Moses News, the main streaming is going to be on Rumble because I want to say what I want to say and express what I want to express. And anybody that feels that way needs to go over there too. This is not a promotion or a sponsorship from Rumble. This is just me making common sense. And who displays that type of behavior more than anybody? The blacks. John Galt, who I have no issues with. I've bombed on John Galt. Some of the things he says. He needs to be on Rumble saying that. He could get a following. I don't want to be negative and say, man, y'all can't do nothing. No. Rumble allows that. It affords you that. But I've heard John Galt say Rumble is trash. No, it's not the platform. It's the creator. It's the creator. The platform is just there as an opportunity. It's the blank slate. It's the blank chalkboard. You're the one that has to fill it up and see if people will take to it and learn from it. Tommy Sotomayor is kicked off of YouTube, and I see him sometimes on other people's channel, but he's rocking and rolling over there on Rumble, and now he's rocking and rolling over there on Kick. And he's been in the game for a minute. He made the switch. But that's the confidence. And I can applaud and salute his confidence. If you think you're that entertaining or valuable, or that you think you got something to offer and people will be susceptible to it, then you need to go to those platforms that allow you that. You don't need to be on a platform that strikes you and demonetizes you or gives you warnings every time you say something that their terms and policies or their algorithm is not in tune with. That is straight cowardice. It's fear. Or it's just a plain all out lack. If you got a history, and I don't have a, I've been warned in the past, but that was about music. That was about music. And then when I started using AI, I had a channel. I think because I had two AI channels, and I copied a video from one to the other one, and they saw where it was already used. So they struck one of the AI channels. But I was just using that channel to test the AI application I was using that does videos and stuff. It didn't. A lot of these channels I create, I use them as chalkboards. They're for video. I'm not going to just create a channel and start live streaming on a different channel. I'm trying to, but this particular channel, like I said, it's a part of the Boyd sector. This is my Boyd sector channel. And I want to start going live on the shorts feed. I like that shorts feed where you do the live in the vertical lives. Some of y'all already got at least 50, because you need at least 50 subscribers. This is a new channel, and I need 50 subscribers to be able to live stream directly on YouTube from the shorts live feed. I do like that. I have another channel where I do it sometimes. Lawrence, you know that channel, the Ivan Uncut channel. I'll do some lives over there on the vertical feed, but I'm trying to focus solely on this channel with YouTube to get it there. And since I'm known from being around CT and this whole Boyd sector, I said, why not use the Black Moses name that I use? That's why I'm using this. I'm not doing it enough. This might be like my 9th actual piece of content. All the other pieces of content was on that other channel, and I just copied them to this channel. That's all I did. And being that they weren't AI, I could do that. But this is like my 9th piece of content on this channel. But sooner or later, when I just get in the mode of live streaming, it'll be on Rumble. I don't care if nobody's over there. I'm willing to go over there and start live streaming. And I think my titles, my subject matter, and thumbnails could get me through it. I think I already got a few followers over there on Rumble. You're going to get a few people that's curious. But I think if I stay consistent enough and provide quality information or quality entertainment and keep it original, not repeating stuff I hear on other YouTube channels or other live stream panels. No, keeping it original subject matter, original details. Yeah, asking original questions, because there's always a why, when, what, where, and how it happened. But I'm going to say it just like this. If you guys are going to keep getting your channel struck, keep getting demonetized, and you keep snaking on other channels just to be seen on YouTube, then really what it means is that you really weren't trying to build anything. You're just trying to be popular. You're just trying to be accepted. And you're just trying to be validated for the bullshit you talk. YouTube ain't rocking with it. Go somewhere that is rocking with it. And on that, hey, I did a 2-hour live stream. Leonard, Lawrence, Double L, L and L. Now, and anybody else who was watching, I see you looking with your looking ass. Anybody else who was watching, I appreciate y'all coming in here on this live. I love doing this today. There was no camming up. And I think that's better saved, because like when I cam up, and I'm doing this from my phone, and when you cam up on your phone, that runs your battery down. So I'm glad I was able to do this. I hope y'all enjoy the visuals, the Black Moses News visuals. I know the sound quality was good, but yeah, I'm going to continue to do some live streams over here, but my real fire, when I'm spitting that hot lava, it's going to be on Rumble. It's going to be on Rumble. Join me over on Rumble. Follow Black Moses News on Rumble. Follow Black Moses News on Rumble. If you really want to hear me get down and talk to It Shay that I be talking. See, I have to say It Shay. Even though I've been cussing, I still have to watch myself over here. If you still want to hear me outtake that It Shay, come over there to Umble Ray. And It Guy get let me stop. I'll get it y'all next time. All right. Black Moses News. Dun, 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 dun. Get the fuck out!